The 90s. Grunge was in, the internet was mysterious, and horror was getting weird. In 1994, a little techno horror flick and this week's episode, Brainscan, hit VHS shelves after a short movie run. And while Brainscan didn't exactly blow up the box office, it became a cult classic, and for good reason. And a lot of that has to do with its connection to legendary horror magazine Fangoria. Brainscan starred Edward Furlong, fresh off of Terminator 2 as Michael, an angsty teenager who is obsessed with both horror movies and video games. I think you can see where this is going. One day, he orders an interactive video game from the pages of Fangoria, no less, called Brainscan, and things quickly spiral into murder, hallucinations, and a demonic host named the Trickster. Again, it was the 90s. Now think of it this way, Brainscan is part Black Mirror, part Freddy Krueger, and all 1990s. It has a killer soundtrack featuring Primus, an early commentary on tech addiction, and enough camp to fill a haunted theater. Now here's where things get interesting. I mentioned that connection to Fangoria because Brainscan wasn't just another horror movie. It was co-produced by Fangoria Films, an offshoot of Fangoria magazine. That's right, the blood-soaked Bible of horror movies had its own film production company. Fangoria launched in 1979 and quickly became the go-to publication for horror fans. It gave readers behind-the-scenes access to the genre's gory effects, interviews with legends like Tom Savini, Wes Craven, and John Carpenter. And Fangoria championed horror even when mainstream media wouldn't touch it. And in a twist worthy of a horror movie in and of itself, Fangoria was originally supposed to be a sci-fi magazine called Fantastica. But legal issues forced the name change before launch. And if you are a horror fan, this is one of the few times you can actually thank copyright law. And as we saw with most print media in the 2000s, Fangoria hit a snag in the 2010s with skipped issues, editorial shakeups, and a loss of fan trust. In 2018, Fangoria was revived under new ownership with a return to print-only, high-quality quarterly editions. 7 years later, Fangoria is still publishing quarterly issues that include new columns, deep dive retrospectives, and interviews with modern horror austers like Ari Aster, you might know him from Hereditary, and Jordan Peele from Get Out, and previous episode, Us. And many horror writers, directors, and FX artists got their early exposure through Fangoria features or ads, like the one Michael found for Brainscan. And Fangoria helped elevate indie horror before it was cool. And Brainscan was arguably one of the most ambitious projects under their banner, mixing psychological horror, digital fears, surreal visuals, and a mainstream teen star. Other Fangoria titles included Mind Warp, starring Bruce Campbell, and Children of the Night. And while Brainscan and its other titles didn't make a huge splash in theaters, it found a second life thanks to home videos, late night cable, and of course, fans who read about it in Fangoria. And as expected, the magazine heavily promoted Brainscan, giving it full-page spreads, interviews, and juicy behind-the-scenes shots, including that one of the Trickster dancing around in the kitchen to Primus eating a raw chicken, all to Michael's horror and fascination. Now, the Trickster was played by T. Ryder Smith, and he was best known at the time as a stage actor. And I guess that explains a lot of his on-screen antics. His performance, full of campy menace, actually earned a cult following, with some fans comparing him to a digital Freddy Krueger. And you know, Brainscan may not be a masterpiece, and that's okay, because you know what it is? It's a time capsule. Brainscan captured the fears of a new digital age, the aesthetics of 90s horror, and the experimental spirit that Fangoria championed. Not to mention, it had something to say about latchkey kids, parents who go on weird trips overseas and leave their teenage son alone. It's got a lot. It was trying to do something. Enjoy it for what it is. Because Brainscan is weird, it's bold, and unforgettable, just like the magazine itself. So next time you flip through an old Fangoria or stumble across Brainscan on a streaming service, remember, it's more than a horror movie. It's part of a legacy that kept the genre alive, weird and bleeding. And go ahead and give the subscribe button a complete Brainscan so you never miss a thing. New episodes of the Real Relationships podcast premiere every Thursday on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky. So follow us on all of our channels so you never miss a thing. We post constantly. We have a lot of fun doing it. We are smack dab in the middle of a spooky season with a really cool atmospheric movie coming up, 2015's Crimson Peak, directed by none other than Guillermo del Toro, who I'm sure has read the pages of Fangoria more than once. You're not going to want to miss it. And then beginning in November, can you believe it? Season 4 of the Real Relationships podcast. We appreciate our viewers, our listeners, and our supporters for continuing to follow us and being a part of this journey. Stay digital, stay safe, and we will see you soon.